going. It's just such a serene and beautiful group of people every Wednesday, and it gets really exciting as the momentum grows and as we move into fall. More and more people show up and share this experience with us. Kim is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to start with an opening treatment just to sort of set the tone. And what I know is if we just simply relax and move into that stillness that we are, that radiant energy of spirit that dwells within each of us, that something expresses through us as we recognize this truth about ourselves. So I know this evening that spirit is showing up individually and collectively as a momentum, a truth that wants to be spoken, a truth that wants to be heard by each of us. We want to know our authentic self, exactly who we are at the deepest part of ourselves, and express that openly, knowing that in safe environments such as this center, we're understood, we're welcomed, we're embraced, and we're loved. This is what I know is the truth for myself, and I know for each person in this room as we move into this evening with excitement, with joy, with love, and with a way of just simply being in community. I let this be the case as I know it and feel it in gratitude, and together in unison we say, and so it is. So last week on Facebook, I think it was actually last weekend, some of our members happened to be at the Special Olympics for the opening ceremony in Los Angeles. And the pictures they were showing from the seats were really quite spectacular. And although I did not watch the opening, it did bring to mind something that I had heard a couple of years ago that just I embraced. And every time I hear about the Special Olympics, I fall back into this way of thinking. And it's a little lesson that Tom Braden had actually shared on a CD I was listening to many, many years ago. And it goes like this. There were these 9 children, and they were practicing, training for the Special Olympics. And they were really excited. Strong, strong team members. They practiced together, and as they got closer to the time of the Special Olympics, they upped their game. They practiced daily. They were determined. They were excited, and they were ready. So the day of the Special Olympics and their individual events showed up. They showed up with excitement, with enthusiasm, and ready as a team to simply move forward in what they had been so cleverly trained to do, and that was to run. It was a short run. But it was an exciting moment for each of them, and of course all of their family members and friends too that were there to support them. So as the 9 of them entered at the starting line and got in their position to take off, the gun went off and they went off. And as they ran, one little boy sensed something just wasn't quite right, and he looked over his shoulder, and what he saw was one of his teammates had tripped and fallen, and he was concerned. And he hesitated for a second, then he stopped and completely turned around and walked. And he was actually in the lead, so he's walking past the other runners back towards the starting line just to see what was going on. And as he did, each of the other kids followed in suit, one by one, turning around and heading back to the starting line so they could help, so they could support, so they could embrace their team member. So they helped him up, brushed off his knees, locked their arms together, arm in arm, and they walked the distance and finished as one entity at the finish line. And of course, the audience loved it, embraced it. So why do we share this kind of story with one another? Because it's a story of sensitivity. It's a story about letting go of competition. It doesn't really matter who wins and who doesn't. Although my husband did win a golf tournament on Sunday, and that really seemed to matter to him. But even if he hadn't, it would have been a great day. So I bring this forward, especially when somebody like Kim shows up into my world, because there's something there that I always want to learn. And whenever I meet anybody that I admire to a strong degree, I have to let go of any comparisons, any sense of competition, of not quite enoughness that I might be experiencing, because if I'm admiring them, so they obviously have something I'm leaning toward and I haven't yet touched within myself, but I know it's there. So Kim is one of those people that shows up in my life, so I'm honored when Kim's here to have actually put myself at a staff meeting into the position of when she's here, I'm here. And grateful that that's been the case. And it's been a couple of years. We used to do it monthly. Now it's whenever there's a 5th Sunday. Maybe one day it'll be monthly again, I'm hoping. With that, those of you that I'm sure all of you know Kim, right? You know that she heads practitioners at the Agape International Spiritual Center. You know that she's very dedicated to counseling. You know that she runs Monday nights. Is it every Monday? Every other Monday at her home, she runs a talk session, a discussion group, and that she's basically committed to walking the path she talks about in her every action, her every move, and her every day. So with that, I'd like to invite Kim up and have her share with us what she's prepared for us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just a little. You know, otherwise I'll run into it. Thank you. Hi. I get so excited when I get to walk up here and go, oh, look at all these beautiful faces. Sorry, I just have to take all of you in. Everyone take a breath with me for a moment, please. Take a really conscious breath right now. In this moment, right in this very exact moment, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Like in this moment, in every breath you take, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. And there's a reason we're talking about right here, right now, the powers in the present moment. Because in every moment, you have a choice to remember that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. The problem is we forget. We forget a lot. How many of us forget what we're supposed to do tomorrow or the next day? We forget. How many of us have to write lists like crazy? Otherwise, we forget. How many like me have Post-its on the front door? Put the rabbit away. Do this or that. Otherwise, I'll forget. So there's a reason that it's important to know that in this moment, in every moment, we have the opportunity to be completely present and to stay awake. So my request of you this evening is that I want you to be so present tonight that anything that you came in that door with that happened the second before you walked in this door, I want you to leave it there. That's my request. You could have 40 minutes right here, right now, and know that anything that occurred today, yesterday, whenever, leave it there. And I want you to test yourself tonight so that as I'm talking, as others are talking, because we're going to have a question and answer period, that if your mind starts to wander into, oh, did I do that? Or I have to do that tomorrow, that you take a breath and come back to this moment. This is your opportunity tonight to practice being in the present moment, on the cutting edge of your present moment every second of your life, because that's what we have the opportunity to do. And I believe that's why we were born. We didn't come here to think we're supposed to live in the past. We came here to be in every moment, fully present, fully alive, and deliver our gifts. So who's up for that? I'm definitely up for that. I want to thank a few people tonight because first of all, I thank all of you for being here, and I don't want to get weepy, but I could because I'm really grateful for all of you for coming out and being present here. It used to just be my mom and dad would show up for me all the time. Right now, I'm just teasing. They're still here. But I just thank you. I thank you, Dr. Maureen, for always opening your home up to me. I thank you. All the ministers and practitioners here are amazing. I thank Linda, who's holding vigil for me right now, for always bringing everything together so beautifully. Jose, thank you. Where are you, Jose? Thank you for always making me sound good. It's just, did anybody just notice what I just brought about right there? I just caught it myself. Gratitude is one of the biggest, easiest ways to be in the present moment. I didn't even do that intentionally. My intention was to be grateful to you, and I just realized that's one of the easiest, fastest ways to get into the present moment. You know, when I was studying to be a practitioner, they talked for years about the omnipotent presence of God, the omnipresence, the omnipresent of God. And we would go over and over it about thinking about this power and presence of all that is, and whether you call it your higher power, God, the universe, whatever it is, that one power that we all are in this room agreeing to, there's just one power that's unlimited, that's all-knowing, that's ever-giving, and it's omnipresent. It doesn't say it's omnipast. Oh, God, omnipast. Oh, wait, God, omnifuture. I'm going to the God omnifuture over here. That's where I'm going to be. We were not taught that. There's a reason it's the omnipresence, because we're right here, right now. And when we begin to choose to live our lives from a place of power, in a place of being empowered, we're in the present moment. There's no other configuration as this is right now. You will never be in another room that's exactly like this. Just look around at everybody. Look at these fellow travelers that are all beautiful with you right now. This will not happen again. In this moment, you are sitting next to someone that you may know, you may not know. In this moment, there's someone behind you or in front of you that you may not know at all, but it will never happen again. And you have an opportunity to grab the pearls of wisdom from someone that could be right next to you. But we forget. And this is why lots of you will hear me say to tap your heart, to get back to your heart, because you're in your head right now. And if you're in your head, you may forget to be in the present moment. And that's where the goodies are. I realized today, I was thinking something about being present. And I thought, it reminds me of, that's why it's called presence. Why do I like presents so much? Why do I like goodies and Christmas and all that? And I get too excited like I'm a 5-year-old child again, because it's in the present moment. If you've ever seen a child opening a present, playing in the sand, they're completely present to everything that's happening right then. They're not thinking about the past or the future. They're in that moment. That's the power we have every second. But we must keep on the razor's edge to remember it. So this configuration that you're looking at right now, I just want you to know as you get up later tonight and interact with people that it will never happen again. So be so willing to be right here and catch the pearls of wisdom that are coming from someone that's right next to you, because there is no mistake. Has everyone heard of the I am prayer? Some? Yes, there's a lot of I am prayers. Very long time ago, my mom happened to give me this beautiful prayer, and I have always, in my mind, when I've needed a quick prayer, have been able to go to God is, I am. And I remembered years ago that I had a moment that I had a horrific horse riding accident. And in the horse riding accident, and I was out for way too long, and when I was in the helicopter being airlifted somewhere, I was thinking in my head, this is a two-part story, I have this major passion to be a helicopter pilot. So I was thinking two things in my head. One was, this was not my idea, to be strapped to this board, looking up, and I'm not even enjoying the view right now. That was my first thought. Before I thought, this is a lot of pain. It was more like, this isn't what I was thinking. I was not clear enough about being in a helicopter. I'm supposed to be flying it, not strapped to the board. But the second thing I thought was, wait a second, I'm way up here and no one knows I'm here. Who's going to pray for me right now? Nobody knows that these firemen were so quick and fast and brilliant and got me strapped up and into this helicopter and is on the way, and somebody's calling poor mom and dad right this moment and saying, I don't know if she's walking or what she's doing, but nobody knows. So in that moment, all of a sudden I thought, but wait a second. I have those tools. All I could say after, why am I not flying the helicopter? The only thing I could say was, God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. That was enough to keep me in the present moment. And how often do we only realize we're in the present moment when either there's a disaster, right? When something occurs in our lives that we know we have to respond fast, we're in the present moment. Somebody gets hurt, a car accident starts to happen where it's like, boom, our energy is right there. But guess what's possible? That in joy, we could be in the present moment. In absolute bliss, we can be so present to enjoying this moment in time that every other moment falls away. That's what's possible for us. I want to read you this poem that my mom sent me so many years ago. It said, I was regretting the past and fearing the future, and suddenly my Lord was speaking. My name is I am. He paused. I waited. He continued. When you live in the past with its mistakes and regrets, it's hard. I am not there. My name is not I was. When you live in the future with its problems and fears, it is hard. I am not there. My name is not I will be. But when you live in this moment, it is not hard. I am here, and my name is I am. The I am presence is with us every second. It is our breath. It's enough if all you can mutter one day is, God is I am. The universe is I am, whatever works for you. But to know that I am presence is your direct connection. Your heartbeat brings you into the present moment. I want you to think for a minute of how many of you right now, if you could just for a second, think of something that occurred yesterday, last week, that you have concern over. Just let it go through your mind. It's an event, something that's still weighing on your mind. I know I asked you not to bring it in here. I'm only asking you for a second to think of it. I'm not going to ask you to hold it. Just reflect. To anything that is kind of holding your attention, just think of it for just a second. And I want you to go over here and think about something you're concerned about tomorrow or the next day, an event that it's about to happen, something that's occurring in your life that's unresolved. Just observe it for a minute. Now I want you to think if you have power over here and if you're empowered, or if you have power over here, or if you're empowered on that concern that already occurred. This one's regret and this one's fear sometimes. Sometimes it's anticipation and joy. But in this moment, if you're holding a sense of, oh no, I didn't do that right over there, and have any judgment on yourself, right there you are at a loss of power. If our concern is what's going to happen tomorrow, how am I going to make that work, you're at a loss of power. Is this making sense? In this moment, we are creating. Every moment, every second, we are creating our life. That's why you'll hear me say, I want you to consciously create your life, not create it by default. But if we're not conscious, we are creating by default. If we don't stay awake and alert to, oh, what is my intention in this situation? Where am I headed now? What am I feeling, knowing about myself right this moment that I am choosing? It's all in the power of our choice to move forward, to propel me into the next moment. But I can't run back to this one that happened a week ago and change it up. Think about how long you've been holding on to something over here that we still think, why did I do that? That's a lot of energy that we're not using in this second, in this exact second. If we are totally present, there are moments where we could be giving more love, giving more appreciation, receiving more love, and allowing it in if we're not concerned about that or that. Is this making sense? This is why you'll hear me sometimes when I'll ask people to please allow that appreciation to sink in. If someone's blessing you with their love, to just hold it and not deny it. Because the second we deny it and turn it away when somebody says, you look magnificent today. And we go, oh, no, this is an old ratty dress. Right in that moment, we just denied our good and we're out of the present moment. So the opportunity we have every second is to think, okay, my power's in this moment. I create in this moment. What am I creating right now? So in that way, you have the option of choosing again. So if this from the past is still haunting you, you have the opportunity right now to be in the present moment and choose again. Choice is here. I'm not going to run over to the future yet and make a choice. I'm right here. But if I make conscious choices here, I'm going to get here, I'm going to make another conscious choice. And then I'm going to get over here, and I'm going to make another conscious choice. But it takes us the willingness to build the muscle to keep breathing again and again and release the place of shame and regret and come back to, what do I know right now? You've heard me say the quality of our life is in the quality of our questions. Ask bigger questions instead of, why did this happen to me? What is possible for my life right now to be in this moment and to transform me to the next? So I was having fun with that word present. It took me a few days, but I was trying to think, okay, what does present stand for? I want you guys to think about this for a second and see if I memorized it correctly. Hold on, I may be too excited to have it memorized correctly. Thank you, God. Powerfully, hold on. It left me. Here's what it came up with. Powerfully responding every second, evoking never-ending transformation. Isn't that great? Powerfully responding. If we're in the present moment, we're powerfully responding every second, evoking never-ending transformation. But it's the truth, right? In the present moment, we have our power. In the present moment, we can choose to respond in love. And it's never-ending transformation. Did anyone happen to see the, I had an opportunity to be completely present a couple of months ago. Did anyone make it to, some of you made it to Agape that night when I was speaking at Agape? I know some of you did because I saw you there. And the beauty of this present moment opportunity was, and this is where we get to live in the moment and catch the goodies when they come, because if we're in the past or the future, we're missing the goodies. So I had this opportunity to be so present and to say yes, because a lot of you know I will always say yes. And I'm walking into Agape one morning, and all of a sudden I feel something in my back, and I turn around, and Reverend Michael's getting ready to go up and speak. And I just go, oh, good morning, Reverend, give him a hug, and he goes, so I'll see you Wednesday, right? And I'm walking in with him like as he's, I go, Wednesday. I'm not usually here Wednesday. And he goes, yeah, Kimberly, I'll see you Wednesday. And he walks past me, and I'm going, okay. He goes, because you're the speaker, I'll see you Wednesday. And he keeps going to the stage, and I'm like, I guess I'll see you Wednesday. I have to be fully present and be available till Wednesday. Now, what he didn't know, of course, was that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I was booked beyond booked, like clients from 8 in the morning till 6 in the night. As most of you know, when I'm preparing a talk, I work on it for a while. And I go into prayer, and I listen to Spirit, and all of a sudden I thought, wow, this is going to be really trippy. And he hasn't even given me a topic he wants me to talk about. And Reverend Michael's process is he may not give it to you till all of a sudden, you know, very, very close to and sure enough, the next day, the end of Monday, his assistant said, oh, Kim, by the way, he wants you to talk about transformation. I was like, well, thank goodness, it's a subject I enjoy. But what I want to tell you is if I wasn't in the present moment right that second, how do we know I would have said yes? Fear would have crept in to, whoa, I don't have enough time for that. Oh, no, oh, man, are you kidding? Do you know my schedule? That's not going to happen. I would have pushed my good away unconsciously. That is what I want for us all to get this evening, is that we do it unconsciously because and it only comes, do you see the difference? In the present moment, that second, there was a willingness to say yes. Whereas if I started to stay in my head of how is that going to happen, and we all know what I think of the word how, if I would have questioned that, I would have pushed the good away and it wouldn't have happened. I had to lean into Spirit right then and say, well, I don't know how, but this is going to be pretty interesting this week, allowing this. And then I got to remember, oh yeah, but it has nothing to do with you. What are you worried about? What are you thinking? It has something to do with you. All I had to do was say yes. And with that yes, then Spirit created the information, whatever needed to come through for that exact evening. But it's our willingness to be in the moment. And this is my invitation to you, is while life is going like this and very full, we have tools to stay in the moment. And guess what the very first one is? Come on, you guys who know me well. Yes, thank you so much. Britt, you just met me, and you knew that was the very first tool. Lila, would you pass those out for me, honey, those cards? So I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that keep you in the present moment. The very first one, thank you so much, is breath. All we have to do is take a breath to get into this moment. How often when we're thinking, worried about things, we're holding our breath and our mind's all clogged up because we're thinking of other things. All we have to do is take a breath. That's why meditation brings us into the present moment. That's why Zen masters are very brilliant at being so present to their breath, because it brings us to the present moment. How easy can that be? It's not that we have to go out and buy something to be in the present moment. We just have to take a breath. What happens when we take a breath is we become so on the edge of right here in this moment that you can feel your cells, your body, to know what's about to occur next. Because I'm not there, I'm right here. So your opportunity right now is any time in the next week or onward, something rises up for you. See how often you could take a breath and just go, I'm right here right now. I used to look at my kids and say, we're right here right now. We're right here. Right here. Especially when wild things are happening. We're just everyone take a breath and get right in this exact moment. All right? Second thing is, one of my favorite tools, my very favorite tools, is to set an intention. Now when we set an intention that comes clearly, and I have to tell you, I have to interject myself. Are you guys okay if I do that? to interrupt my flow right here. These three things came to me because I walked into a group of wonderful beings one day that I was working with, and someone said to me, oh, we were just talking about you, and we were saying, when a stressful moment comes, what would Kim say right now? And when they said that, I went, wow, that's very cool. And then I go, and what did you guys do? And he looks at me and goes, we all took a breath. I went, perfect, this is effective. And then I walked away and thought, and what else would I do? I'd set my intention next. When we take a breath, set our intention next. You're in the present moment when you set an intention. Who's worked with me and setting intentions? There's a lot of you in here. Yes. So you know the power of intention keeps us out of expectation. Expectation can keep us in fearing the future or the past because we're in the expectation that somebody's going to do something for us to make us happy. Our intention work keeps us present to, my intention is to be right here, right now, available for the highest good to absolutely unfold before me. Or whatever else it is. If you have a headache, it could be my intention is to feel good. My intention is to release the pain. My intention is to be present to this moment with this individual in front of me. But our intention work directs this beautiful universal power that we're working with in the direction of what we wish to create. See, we're creating out of what we've done before, what we think someone else has done, or what we think is possible. But we're in that framework, there's still an element, and it's very hidden, but there's still an element of limitation in it. When we lean into spirit and set an intention that's wide as my intention is to be present to this moment and absolutely allow the highest good to come to me, then we're plugging into this universal power and allowing it to move through us. Does that make sense? Because then it's bigger than us. We forget that it's bigger than us. So our intention work lines us up with spirit, and we get to be clear about what we're creating. So it keeps us conscious. It keeps us present. If you don't have an intention and you walk into something, you're walking in with some of what you just had outside. So if you walk into a dinner, if you walk into a meeting, and you haven't set an intention, you could be walking in with worry, concern, I'm not sure, what were they thinking when they said that on the phone, I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Hey, how you doing? We do this, correct? The chatter keeps going, but we have an opportunity to come back, take a breath, think, before I walk in this door, I'm setting a really clear intention. My clients know, I will ask them, please set an intention before whatever meeting you're going into. If there's a conversation you're about to have that could be intense, set an intention to connect with your love. Set an intention to speak clearly and lovingly, and the entire interaction that's about to go down is going to change, I guarantee you. Because when we don't have one, we are not walking in present in the present moment. Do you see the difference of that? It's subtle, but so important. And the third thing that I think is so vitally important is, Denise, where are you? Oh, hi, honey. I forget how long ago it was that Denise and I were talking. She said something about, but that faith, you just have this faith that is what? And I said, do you remember it's been about a year now that I've been saying, it's for unstoppable faith, that I'm choosing to live in unstoppable faith. Not in just, I've got faith, but unstoppable faith is much more powerful because I'm taking a stand to know that I'm lining up with spirit every second and I'm going to be unstoppable in my connection to the Most High. Because if I do that, anything is possible on the grandest scale that I could even imagine. Something that I can't even imagine yet is more than possible, because when we're in unstoppable faith, guess what comes up? Our practice. Unstoppable faith means I'm in prayer a lot of the time. It means I'm setting intentions every second, every day. It means I'm lining up with that spiritual power and saying, I'm right here and I'm willing. It was that aha when I realized, oh wait, why am I worried about what I'm going to say on service Sunday at Agape? Because it has nothing to do with me. I'm getting out of the way and seeing what Spirit wants to say because it's not mine. It's just my willingness to be of service. I had a client recently who said he was going in for an audition and he was very nervous and was very anxious. And I said to him, is it possible to go in for the intention of one thing? And he said, what? I said, I just want you to deliver your gift. Just go in. You are not there to get the job. And he looked at me like, are you crazy? Of course I have to get the job. And I said, but if you go in just knowing I'm here to deliver my gift, you will walk in spiritually infused with divine wisdom and not walking in expectation that I hope to God they like me and give me this job. Because guess what happens then? What shows up is the desire to, am I good enough? Do you like me? Is this going to be okay? But when he went in and he looked at me, he basically gave me this funny look like, all right, I'm going to try, this sounds wacky, but I'm going to try this. And I said, okay, there's a part 2. I said, I want you to walk in, deliver your gift, because you know you are extremely talented. He goes, of course I am. I said, so go in, deliver it, and then when you walk out the door, I want you to let go. And he goes, let go. I go, yeah, I want you to let go. I want you to walk out the door and let go of any sense of controlling the outcome. You are only there to deliver your gift. Each and every one of us are here to deliver our unique gift that no one else has like we do. There's gifts that every single individual that is sitting here and looking at me has unique, brilliant, magnificent talents that you can't be duplicated by somebody else in this room. And if you are in the present moment and willing to just deliver your gift and let go of the outcome, then you're living in the present moment. Because when in the present moment, you must give up something. And that give up is you got to let go. You have to let go of what you think it's going to look like, because it is so much bigger than you think. It is so much bigger than you think. Think of those moments for a second where you thought it was going to go one way, but then you went, okay, I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm showing up. And the job got better than you thought. The relationship was much more magnificent than you thought because you let go of what you thought it was supposed to be. Yes, you guys with me? Brilliant. Everyone take another breath. All right, I have a question. You have to be really honest, please. How many remember to check themselves when their mind was wandering and they left the present moment? Yay, thank you. Did you pull yourself back here? Thank you. Thank you. Imagine if we were doing that every day. I had this class that I taught here that I loved. It was the 40-day mind fast class when I did that. Dr. Maureen, you remember? It was a while ago. And in this book of 40-day mind fast class, there's a page that Reverend Michael says, I want you to be, do you remember that class? I said, you must be, he said, I want you to, how did he say it? Go on a quest for gratitude that every hour, like we set our alarms in class, every hour, every student in that class for a week stopped when their alarm went off and said, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for that I'm present. I'm grateful for them. Wasn't it? For at least a week, we got back and people went, no, I'm going to keep doing this. My alarm is set because it takes seconds. That brought them into the present moment. These are the things that are possible everywhere. We have technology that is moving in warp speed, and all we have to do is saddle up our spiritual intention with it, and then we're occupying this technology with spiritual intention. That's really powerful. Just imagine if every hour a little ding went off and you're like, whoo, what am I grateful for? Go back to your business. The next hour something happens, whoo, what am I grateful for? You are going to be just snap on the present moment every second. And in that place, you are empowered and in creation because you are in choice. I have to read to you something, and then I'm going to ask you, we're opening it up for questions. I forgot to tell you guys, think if you have questions, we're having question time. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, Man, he says this sentence that I just love. He says, the past has no power to stop you from being present now. The past has no power to stop you from being present now. Only your grievance about the past can do that. And what is grievance? The baggage of old thought and emotion. We don't need to carry that baggage anymore. You could leave some baggage at the terminal and let's leave it there. Because if you keep carrying it forward with you, you're missing these presents, these gifts of this moment. So whatever occurred yesterday, the day before, the week before, find that place where you could truly let it go. So that in this moment, you are standing really available for the greatest yet to be of your life that is still unfolding and wants desperately to be birthed through you. So if anyone's willing for that, please let me know and say yes. Everyone take a breath. You guys are so beautiful. I could stare at you forever. I want to open it up for questions. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'm have to laugh. So the very first person that's hand up is my father. You think, like, after all these years, Kimbo, I have a question.
Can we use the mic so it's recorded?
You got the job, Dad. Yeah. Yes, Sandra, where's it at? Is it this? There's two. I'm sorry. Which one is it? That one. Questions? Where's my dad? He had a big, strong voice, though. Think about for a moment, in this space of what we're discussing, being in the present moment, available for your greatest good, what comes rising to the surface that you bump up against right now? I know you guys have questions. Where's all everyone that I told you to bring? Yes.
Well, I'm curious. This is all new.
Yes.
So when you say set your intention,
Yes.
in a negative way, I think like, oh, I have an agenda for myself when I go in, and that's more negative than it is set. So how do you?
Beautiful question. So intentions are based in qualities. So the intentions I'm suggesting you use are based in qualities that you wish to, I don't want to say acquire, experience. So the difference, watch this, between, say, a goal and an intention, in the format I'm talking about right here. A goal could be, my goal is to own that yellow Mercedes, whatever. That doesn't sound like a pretty car. But that sounds really bad. Oh, no. My intention is to own, John, what color is your Porsche? Come on, tell me, I forget. Black. My intention is to own that black Porsche. So say it's that, right? A quality would be, or intention, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just messed myself up. The goal would be the black Porsche, right? That's my goal. That car, that exact car. The intention is based in qualities. I look at someone and say, so what do you want out of a car? What do you experience in a car? Freedom, joy, speed, laughter. I'd say, okay, so here, my intention is to call forth a car that I feel freedom, excitement, joy, that brings me, as in the financial range I could have reached for. You see what I'm saying? I'm giving you a loose example. But instead of it being something that's an agenda, it's not I'm aiming for qualities of experience. So did you hear earlier when I said intentions were like, my intention is to be fully present in this moment? Keeps you out of an expectation, which could be, if we walk into an environment without setting an intention, we could have a hidden expectation like, this meeting's going to go really well as long as she gives me what I want. Right? Because we don't even know we're doing that. We're thinking, no, I'm coming in here to get the job. So I'm only going to walk out happy if I get the job. Then you miss this whole level of experience that there could be something much bigger than a job here. How many of you have gone for a job interview and you walked out with a much better position than you ever thought of? Because you were open to the experience, not the outcome. Doesn't mean we don't aim for outcome. It means that we base it on qualities. So your intention is to be present, to be loving, to call forth divine partnership, to call forth the perfect place of employment. Not I'm going to work there. My intention is to call forth the perfect place of employment that fills all my needs, and I'm able to give my gifts and receive compensation for it. Does that make sense? Okay. Great. And do you see how that could keep you in the present moment? Okay, great. Great. And intentions are something I love to offer up and discuss. So ask any questions about that. Yes, my dear.
Hi.
Hi.
Kim, if it's not too personal, would you mind sharing with us, sharing with us your morning spiritual practice?
Oh, of course that's not too personal. Yes. So I talked to a lot of people in this room about your spiritual practice. So those of you who I haven't recently, our spiritual practice is vitally important to keeping us in the present moment. Because we live in this full world, if we don't have a daily, regular practice, we will be in reaction much more than present. So my own spiritual practice is, as soon as I wake up, I literally wake up and I can see outside, so I am out the doors in prayer immediately. It's just, I used to go get my coffee and sit down. Now I am pulled outside to be in prayer for whatever's happening in my life for that day. So always prayer, then I go make my coffee. And then come back to my cozy seat And if my intention is for meditation every day, if I don't get it that time in the morning, it's later in the day. It's always reading spiritual content and setting my intentions. All that can happen in less than 30 minutes if it needs to be. And then through the rest of the day, I'm setting intentions, saying prayers, taking breaths, like it continues. My practice used to be in the morning, and then at nighttime, I'm writing my gratitude journals. I don't go to bed without, as often as possible, remembering what I'm grateful for. And it's right in a bathroom drawer, so it's present and close by for me to do it there. Or acknowledgement lists, as I will ask people to do. But it goes in the morning and at night, so it's like bookending it, and then during the day, I don't walk into a meeting or see a client without saying a prayer, having my intention, and again, that can happen in seconds. It's just becoming who we are. When I'm pulling up to a meeting or something, right then, I'm in, what is my intention? Let me surrender, surrender. Walking into a meeting, surrender to anything that I think it's supposed to be, and my intention is to be present right here. So it becomes breath by breath. When somebody asked me years ago, how often do you pray? It would be, I don't know. How often do I? Because it's every moment. Does that answer your question? And I highly suggest that we all have some spiritual practice. And I suggest that we find what it is for us. I didn't mention mine is also I have to be in nature. So I either go for a run. I was going to tell you about this a moment ago. I was on a run the other day through the mountains, and I run through the mountains where I usually don't run into anyone else unless it's a rattlesnake or sometimes something of some other, whether it's, I haven't seen a bobcat lately, but otherwise, and sometimes a bicyclist, but not usually. And I was running through the mountains, and it feeds my soul because I'm connecting to the earth. And when I was running, I was thinking, and I was hearing myself, because it's become a pattern now, that my mantra is either like, thank you, God, here I am, all is well, God is my source, the universe is my source. It's just going on and on. I'm so grateful for this. But I was in the present moment. My mantra kept me in the present moment. And all of a sudden I thought, if I wasn't, I could in seconds be falling on my butt, because it's very rocky, and I could be down the hill in 2 seconds if I wasn't on the razor's edge of being present in that moment. And the times I have been worried or thinking about something, sure enough, either I don't see a stone that I stumble over or something occurs. But there's people that, some of my clients, their spiritual practice is in the ocean surfing. Sometimes for me, it's sitting on the edge of the ocean and just catching, or it's kettlebell class. Thank goodness for Katie. Where is she, Victoria? Whatever it is, but what connects you to source energy often, so you have a place to lean into. Athletes, it's probably when they're doing their sport, right? It's like, where do we find that place where we connect? And I really invite you tonight to, if you walk out this door, to think, how can that expand? Where else can my spiritual practice build? I always have a journal in my purse. I always have spiritual content reading in my purse. So if I'm stuck anywhere in an office meeting, then I'm opening that up. Questions. Present moment, living in the present moment. Ask.
If you don't mind my asking, what does a morning prayer sound like, and is it different from an evening prayer?
Well, I'm looking for the people who hear me pray forever. Every prayer is different because it's through. It's not something that's written, and every prayer, every moment is going to be a new prayer, because it's not the same one that was yesterday. Mine isn't. And that doesn't mean that I don't think that when we have solid prayers that are something that we do over and over, that's brilliant as well. Mine tend to be, on that day, I know what's going on in my life. So if I'm pulled out of bed, to be like, right now. It's always gratitude. So it always begins in gratitude. And then it depends what's moving through me in that moment, what's happening in life that I'm calling prayer for. Today I had the blessing in doing a prayer. Someone so kindly said, would you bless yourself too? Thank you, Peter. Because I thought, oh, thank you. Usually I'm blessing everyone here and forgot, thank you. Let me bless myself too. So and truly it could be, God is, I am. If that's what's muttered in that moment, it's still the words of connecting you to source energy. But I'm still going to fly that helicopter. Ask my daughter. Every 5 minutes she hears me go, wop, 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 wop. Oh, there's another one. Another one's coming. Another question. Matt, you're so quiet over there. How you doing? You said you're going to come, harass me a little. No? You sure? Okay. I have to say, sorry, you're here, Matt. I'm so grateful you're here. Matt and Nicole's wedding I did how many years ago? 15. And it was on the edge of a cliff. And they had me facing the ocean. I was on the edge of the cliff. And I'm trusting them like, okay, you guys, just whatever's coming out of me, I hope you don't get mad, because otherwise I'm flying off into the ocean right now with just the two of them. And it was a most beautiful wedding. And Matt looked at me and said, you've got 5 minutes, and you better get this done in 5 minutes, Kim. I'm like, okay, got it. I can do it. I was a little bit over, but I was close, right? Yes, we survived that. Any other questions? Anything burning on the edge of your consciousness? No? Everyone's good? Is everyone willing to start knowing that the space of living in the present moment, of taking a breath, setting an intention, living in unstoppable faith, that there is space there for you to absolutely expand who you are to be in this moment and what is possible to create for your life in this moment? Yes? Okay, good. All right, I want to take us to prayer, please. Everyone take a moment. I want you to bring into your mind's eye anyone in your life that you would like to include in this prayer, to please bring them in right here. How grateful I am to be in this divine space right here and right now. I'm so grateful. Knowing that I'm standing in answered prayer with all these beautiful beings right here, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be standing in answered prayer. So what joy it brings me to remember and know the truth that there is just one power, one presence, and it flows through myself, and it flows through every individual in this room, every one of their family members, everyone on this planet, that right there, Spirit is flowing through us all. So that this unlimited, magnificent power that flows through us is accessible to us all. And that I'm so grateful that these individuals in this space are saying yes to consciously choosing their life, to consciously staying in the present moment, and knowing that right there, Spirit just rises up within them in agreement of the possible creation that's taking place every moment, every breath, every moment, every breath. I bless these beautiful souls. I bless them that with every breath they say yes to themselves, yes to remembering the power of who they are and allowing Spirit to flow through them. I'm grateful for this center, for this evening, and may we all walk in spaces of sweet remembrance, so that as we bump up against each other, we are simply bumping up against Spirit. In celebration of life and this evening, I simply let go of this word, trusting the journey it is upon, and always knowing it is enough. There's nothing to hold on to. Together we say, and so it is. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Denise, thank you for so many years ago teaching me how to say amen in sign language. It's been many moons. Oh, take a breath. So, there's two things we still have to do. If you guys are still awake, everybody's still awake. I'm so grateful. One is, I'm going to pass the offertory basket. If the center thrives on your tithes, and if there's anything that moved you, that lifted you, and you can tithe to this basket, to this center, please know it is a blessing to all. It keeps projects going and keep coming back here. So could you two pass those wonderful baskets, and we could bless that.
While we're collecting, I'm sorry, I need to make a correction. Connie pointed out that I said Kim's here the 5th Sunday of the month, and I hope you all understood. It was actually the 5th Wednesday.